Right, we are live.
Okay, perfect. We'll go ahead and get started then. I'm excited to call this meeting to order at 3 p.m. on March 12th. It's good to see everyone. I hope you're all doing well. We'll just go ahead and get started with, I'll take an approval for the agenda for today.
I move we approve the agenda for tonight.
Second.
Wonderful. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? All right, the agenda has been approved. Moving on, I'll also take another motion to approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting on February 26th, if anyone would like to make that motion.
Motion
I
to
move
approve.
we. Good.
Wonderful. And it has been motioned and there's been a second to approve the meeting minutes. And all those in favor?
Aye.
And all opposed? All right, the minutes have been approved.
I have a question real quick. Was that Josephine who made
Yeah.
the motion? Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, now that that's over, we can go ahead and get started with reports. So if Laura is here to give the OPD report, then, sorry, I can't see everyone who's here for.
That's okay. I am here.
Oh, wonderful.
I would say I was looking over the reports for the last couple of weeks, and it's definitely a hodgepodge of, it's a mixed bag of offenses. But what still is consistent is the unemployment fraud and those claims. So we've got, I mean, I've counted at least 6, but I don't think I'm done counting. Yeah, some mental illness calls. So we're getting ready for warmer weather and a couple of different upcoming events. So we're planning and making sure we're well staffed and getting into that mode and that mindset. That's about it.
What day would be considered the celebration?
I'm trying not to say it. I'm trying to just minimize it. Well, there is
what day?
Prue, you gonna go out and party?
The whole corner here erupts. So
Yeah, true. So no, there's well, we're not sure what to expect for St. Patrick's Day. And then the 25th might be another day that we're focusing on just because it's a wellness day.
Oh, okay.
And we've heard stuff.
Oh.
Sorry, Prue.
But they'll be here, people will be here the 17th.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's really weather dependent. So if it's 35 and gross, then it'll probably be pretty dead. If it's 60 and beautiful, it'll probably be busy. But that's the way it is on any given like Saturday. So
yeah. It used to be traditionally though, the Thursday before spring break. So no matter what day that was, they had it. And I think this schedule gives an opportunity to change it up a little bit so people really don't know what's going on, but they know what's going on. I shouldn't say. Good.
Yeah, all right. So if that's it from OPD, is there anyone here for MUPD that wants to make a report?
I don't think that I see anyone here today.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anyone either. All right, then we can go ahead and move along. So just some quick updates from me. I know that Connor was in here at our last meeting to talk about mask ambassadorship, and I'm really excited that that program starts officially tonight. So if you see people walking around Oxford between 6 and 10 p.m. tonight, I'll be there wearing the mask ambassador shirt. Then that's what they're doing, is just passing masks out to anyone who it doesn't appear to be wearing one or who might not have one. So yeah, we're very excited for that. And then our continued partnership with student organizations on campus, which actually receive funding incentives from ASG's Funding and Audit Committee. So it's an awesome opportunity for them to receive additional funding as well. And then our partnership with Greek Life. And so they have Greek Life weekends that are exclusive to them where they'll be participating in the program. So it's just an awesome way that students have really come together and stepped up to go off campus and be student leaders for their peers. And then another update from me really quick is just to be mindful that next week, student body president and vice president elections are taking place. These are taking place on the hub between March 15th and 17th. So by next week, we'll know who our next student body president and vice president are going into the next year. So it's just a very exciting time for us in ASG right now. And then with COVID-19 ad hoc committee, we've been reevaluating our goals for the semester and what we're going to work on. So something specific that we're going to focus on, or two specific things really, we're going to focus on vaccinations and what this looks like on Miami's campus and in Oxford, and what this will look like going forward in the semester and then on into the summer and next year. And then we're also going to be focusing on compliance with testing and COVID-19 strategy, particularly how this pertains to off-campus students. So those are our two big goals that we've identified and that we're going to be working on more this semester. And then my last update is that earlier today, I sent out an email to everyone with a Google form that was a link to the mid-semester feedback survey. So thank you to those of you who have already filled it out. And then if you haven't seen it yet, it's just a feedback form so that you can fill it out. It has questions from me on what I can improve on to be more effective as the chair of this commission. How your experiences have been on the commission this semester, just so that I have feedback on where everyone's at with what we're working on. And then just if there's any way that I can improve to be more effective, then I take those responses very seriously, and they are confidential. So I want you guys to feel free to be as comfortable as possible and share your experiences so that I can improve and be better going forward in the semester. And so then does anyone have any questions about any of the things that I've updated you guys on?
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
I-
Go ahead, Prue.
I asked Andrew, and he pointed me to a website about what the schedule is this spring, because those of us who are just regular people here are not sure of the university schedule. And so he gave me an email or a link to that, and I'll look that up. But that we don't always know, and we pass on misinformation, I think, about whether people are coming or going, and wellness days and things like that. So I don't know if you have anything to add that is helpful, that would be helpful for us to know as far as dates and students coming and going on campus and so on. So
Yeah.
And I shared the academic calendar website with
Yeah.
Drew.
yeah,
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that would be good. I'm sorry, go ahead.
that's everything, right? The academic calendar is the most important one.
Yeah, that'll have all the dates for wellness days, anything going on with the university, graduation dates, everything like that.
And
Okay.
exams.
Oh yes, exams, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
And then, Megan, did you have a question also?
Yes, thank you. So I have a question, and I think it'll be kind of a who should I ask about this question. So among graduate students, we've been talking about when we might be getting vaccinations to the university. There was an announcement that faculty and staff that they were going to try to have everyone vaccinated by the end of July for fall. And we're trying to figure out whether that includes graduate instructors or not, because a lot of us are kind of slated to be teaching face-to-face in fall. Do you have a recommendation for someone who would be appropriate to ask about that? Like if grad students are included in that July date?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give that over to Scott.
Yep. So Megan, so Steve Large would be the person to ask that question. So my assumption is, yes, you will be in that category. So by the time we get vaccines, I'm pretty sure that all age groups will be open. So if we got them today, the answer might be no, just based on people's age. But by the time we get to the point where we're getting shipments, it has to be wide open at that point. And because at this point, we've even had conversation about students. So that's where the graduate students will fall into its place as well. The question is going to be, are you here during the summer? So I know that they're still figuring out, depending on if we get them, is there going to be a chance, will they be in Oxford or Ohio for that second round, or will they be in Pennsylvania or Maryland be able to get it? So those are the kind of details they're trying to work out.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Scott.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm sorry that I can't see everyone. Oh yeah, Steve.
Not a question, but just the comment that the city has coordinated with Butler County Health Department and BCRTA to make sure that folks can get to the twice a week vaccine clinics that are at the Butler County Fairgrounds in Hamilton. And although that wouldn't be open to every student, it certainly is open to students that have the unusual health situations. So the BCRTA picks up people at the Tri-Center, and Oxford Seniors is also offering transportation from anyone's home to the Tri-Center and then return if they themselves have difficulty getting to the Tri. So I think that's an improvement over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Steve. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? All right, I'm not seeing any hands or any hands raised in the participants list. So I'm gonna go ahead to, we have no old business to discuss today. So moving on to new business, this is my mid-semester off-campus report on what off-campus affairs and what I've been working on in ASG this semester. If you guys don't know, I have a wonderful committee of ASG senators. You saw Connor, and then Gus is also at this meeting as well. But people like them who really take a lot of initiatives and work on them, because I definitely could not do any of this alone. So lots of fantastic senators and help from within ASG. So I love to highlight their work, and just so that you guys know what we're working on. If you have any thoughts on other things that we could be working on, or any comments on the things that we've already done. So I'm going to go ahead and share my presentation if I can figure out how to do that really quick. There we go. Oops. All right, you should be able to see my screen, everyone, I think. All right, perfect. There we go. All right, can everyone see that in full screen mode?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So yeah, this is my off-campus affairs report for where we're at in the semester. So it just highlights what we were working on at the end of last semester when I became the secretary for off-campus affairs, as well as the things that we focused on over J term and then going into the semester so far. So just at a glance of some major events that have happened in off-campus affairs this semester, we actually passed a piece of legislation, which is kind of rare for us as a committee, actually, since a lot of initiatives don't deal directly with the university. So that was exciting to have a piece of legislation go through the floor. We welcomed 2 new semesters to the committee after our special elections. So 2 open seats for off-campus were available. And so we're happy to fill those and then welcome them both to the committee. I started the community newsletter in January that's been really successful so far. I've received a lot of really great feedback from both community members and students on the resources and the topics that have been highlighted in that newsletter. And then we've also partnered with the Chamber of Commerce on a local business spotlight. And so if you saw the last edition of the newsletter, then 6 local businesses were highlighted. And then we're moving into a weekly highlight of these local businesses that a senator on the committee is taking up. So we're very excited about that partnership and becoming more engaged with local businesses as ASG. And then again, you guys all know about the Mask Ambassadorship Program. So that's actually been in the works since pretty much the beginning of last semester. So we're excited to finally see that take place tonight. So very exciting that all of Connor's work that he's put into that. Another thing is our ASG Greek Life Committee. So earlier, in this semester, the Secretary for On-Campus Affairs and I sat down and we realized that Greek Life and ASG really didn't talk a whole lot before we started this committee, and that those are Greek Life perspective on campus. They make up such a huge part of the student body, yet receive very little representation in ASG. So we wanted to change that. And so the ASG Greek Life Committee was born, and Kyle and Ariana on SCRC actually sit on that as Tri-Council president. So we were very excited for this partnership. And then we've also continued our collaboration with Women Helping Women and with planning events that are upcoming as COVID restrictions are starting to be lifted. So to have like an in-person event with Women Helping Women. So then that was obviously a lot of just big picture at a glance things, but really to own it in. So the things that I wanted to highlight today are the 3 really overarching themes that we've seen in our initiatives this semester. So we've been doing a lot of community outreach and engagement with our students and community members as well. We've focused on renters' rights education and making sure that students have accessible resources that enable them to make the most informed and safe decisions when choosing where to live. And then we've also been working a lot this entire year on local business support and how to be more engaged within our local businesses and our community. So on community outreach, again, we started the off-campus newsletter, which has actually, it's been so fun to make, and it's been so fun to talk to so many people and get their input on that. We did a Black History Month in Oxford spotlight in the last newsletter in February. So it was very fun to look at a lot of Oxford history and then see a lot that the city had on their website about that. So it was very exciting to write about, and a lot of really good feedback on our rich history that we have in Black history in Oxford with Freedom Summer and with the Underground Railroad. And then farmers market outreach. I have been enjoying this weather so much, and it's gotten me really excited for the farmers market tomorrow, which is picking back up again for the semester. So this is a huge point of contact between ASG and our off-campus students, since it's one of the times that we can set up our table outside and a lot of community members and students walk by, and we get a lot of really good concerns and get in touch with a lot of people who don't really know what ASG is sometimes. So I'm very excited to pick that up tomorrow. If you're at the farmers market at all between 9 and 12, you'll see me and then some other fantastic senators that signed up to volunteer. So I'm very excited about that. And it doesn't look like it's going to rain tomorrow anymore. So I'm also excited about that we don't have to get the tent out. And then something else that we've been trying to focus on is provision of resources for off-campus students, since a lot of times, especially with COVID, I've heard a lot of concerns that off-campus students feel isolated from both the university and the community. And COVID has only exacerbated this. So I wanted to make sure that students have access to resources. And so we've really utilized the off-campus affairs tab on the ASG website to put our renters' rights education resources, as well as COVID-19 guidelines and protocols. And then there's also an extensive resources list of both resources from the city and the university in the off-campus newsletter that we're just growing every month as we learn of more resources and think of more things that would be valuable to students to know. Again, we've been working on COVID-19 guidelines and expectations. And as I mentioned earlier today, is something that we're going to be focusing on more in the COVID ad hoc committee with ensuring compliance, and that our testing and strategies pertaining to COVID they're really focused on off-campus students and making sure that our compliance matches both the expectations of the university and the city, and to make sure that we're all being responsible in engaging with the community. And then again, mask ambassadorship program. And I've already talked about that a lot, so I won't go into any further detail. But I think that's a great way that we can get out there and pass out our Miami masks and be wearing the mask ambassadorship shirts and really engage with students, and hopefully hear some concerns tonight as well. And then again, the collaboration with Women Helping Women. And I also have a ton of pamphlets from them that I'll also be handing out at the farmers market tomorrow. So yeah, that's with community outreach. Has been a huge thing for us, obviously. That was a very big thing for me coming into ASG. And then that's something that I really wanted to expand once I became the Secretary for Off-Campus Affairs, is really engaging with our students, since they're often overlooked and that their perspectives are still very valued. They just sometimes fall through the cracks. So I wanted to really patch that up. So moving on into renters' rights education, last semester, senators on the committee really broke down a lot of the renters' rights guidelines provided by the city and put these into a digestible format as a pamphlet. So this has information on what to look for when signing a lease, information about security deposits, the expectations that the city has for being a tenant, and how to be a responsible tenant in working with your landlord. And then we are also translating these resources for international students next month. So I'm very excited about this, to make these resources more accessible to our international students, so they can especially be making more safe and informed decisions, since they're a lot of times overlooked in that area. And then again, with the college pads legislation, so we passed this legislation working with College Pads. That's a company that provides a housing finder tool to students, as well as utilizes the resources that we've highlighted that the university and the city both have. And we've kind of taken this in another direction and looking at really expanding the off-campus outreach site that the university provides and using this to highlight the resources such as the Renters' Rights Education Canvas page, as well as these Renters' Rights education resources that ASG has made. And lastly, we've focused a lot on local business support. So again, this partnership with the Chamber of Commerce and Kelly, who's the president, and Dave, I've been working a lot with both of them. And so really highlighting the Get Offers app that Jennifer's talked about in this commission as well. And then Dave will actually be here at our next meeting to talk more about that with everyone. But this has been a very exciting partnership and to get us really more engaged with local businesses and understand the challenges that they've experienced with COVID-19 and how we can get our students more engaged with supporting them. And then again, the local business spotlight that has been monthly and that will now transition to weekly. I plan on using the ASG Instagram page in order to do a weekly highlight of local businesses that reach out so we can feature them, share their stories, how they've adapted to COVID-19 regulations and guidelines, and how they're still interacting within our community and how they're still providing their services. So I'm very excited about that going forward. And then we've also focused a lot on providing safety guidelines for students when they're outside and when they're within the community, how they can be safe and be mindful of both what the university expects as well as the city in terms of how we can be as safe as possible and ensure the safety of our community as students who are engaging with the community. And so since this is a mid-semester report, I wanted to emphasize that a lot of these are ongoing initiatives and that we're not stopping here anytime soon. So just some things that I have looking ahead for the rest of the semester and as we're planning for the fall, I want to do a QA on renters' rights. So I want to do an Instagram takeover with the ASG Instagram page where we just have a list of frequently asked questions that I can answer for students as they're looking into making their housing decisions. And then I also want to continue working on, again, the compliance for off-campus students especially with COVID testing, on how we can improve the rates at which off-campus students are complying with testing. Something else that we're looking at is ShareFest, which I'm sure that many of you are already familiar with that program, but ShareFest is a program that takes any furniture or things that students have lying around either their dorms or their off-campus residences that they're just planning on throwing away at the end of the year. And so ShareFest comes in and will pick up these things and redistribute them. So I'm partnering with the director of ShareFest on how we can get this information out to off-campus students, since a lot of what ShareFest has done has changed to only include drop-off. So on how we can continue to get the word out about this program. Something else that we'll be working on a lot is planning for fall of 2021 as we anticipate COVID-19 regulations and restrictions to be lifted, how we can be mindful about going out and how we can still engage with the community safely when we're finally allowed to have in-person events again and when those are expanded. I still want to continue the outreach expansion as regulations are lifted and as the farmers market outreach picks back up again, and that we're able to do more things outdoors and to continue to grow the community newsletter. Since over 100 people already received this, I want it to be so many more than that, since that's a lot of people for as short of a time as it's been out, but we can definitely grow that and include more people on that list. And then I also want to increase our health and wellness education opportunities. So making sure that students are more aware of the mental health and wellness resources that Miami has provided, as well as that the city provides as well. And so just highlighting these through partnerships with organizations on campus, such as Hawks, in order to really encourage peer advocacy for health issues so that we can all be better student leaders in those areas. And then I'll use this time to take any questions that anyone has. I know that was a lot of information and that these are still a lot of ongoing things that we're working on off campus and that projects that my senators are working on. So if anyone has any questions.
Emily, our first question comes from Rebecca.
All right, I'm sorry, I can only see a few people here, so. Yeah, Rebecca, go
It's
ahead.
okay. Hi, I had a question about ShareFest, and I was wondering if you would consider perhaps using medication disposal bags that the Coalition for Healthy Community and the Office of Student Wellness has. It's an environmentally safe way for students to dispose of their medications, whether they're prescription or non-prescription medications that they have, and as they're kind of cleaning out closets and cabinets, that would be a safe way for them to get rid of them. So I don't know where the plans are for ShareFest, or if that would be something that you would like to have as part of the ShareFest this year. But if so, just let me know, or you can let Amy know, and we'd be happy to find out ways where medication disposal bags would help.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rebecca, for that point. I'll definitely follow back with you that. I took note of that. Thank you.
Thanks.
And I believe the next question comes from Steve.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
I was just wondering, we've talked about the election. How does that affect you and your role and the time frame that you're in? And how do we, as a commission, help to see that the any new chairs who come in bring the kind of energy and leadership that you have brought to us?
Yeah, thank you. That's a really great question, Steve. I appreciate that. So yeah, we do have student body president elections this week. And then after that, cabinet elections for the secretary positions in ASG. Those will be taking place over the course of the first 2 weeks in April, which is pretty early. So it gives us a lot of time to transition any new people into the roles. So whoever my predecessor is, they'll be able to come into these meetings with me. They'll be able to become familiar with all of you and to demonstrate their ability to lead this commission as well. And then I'll make sure to provide them with extensive transition documents about all the things that I've been working on and that I know that my predecessors have been working on. So I plan to utilize the that extensive transition period fully and to make sure that they're perfectly acclimated to take on this role. So thank you, Steve.
And I think Prue is the next person with a question.
Yes, where does one go to get all of the information that you've just given us?
Yeah, definitely. I can.
Is it all online, or is it in different offices, or how do we do that?
Yeah, so I can share a copy of my presentation with all of you. And then all these initiatives are just things that my senators have been working on that I've been working on in cabinet and ASG. Senate meeting minutes are public to everyone. So you could utilize the ASG website. I can also send a link to that after this meeting, but then you can get access to the off-campus affairs outreach page that we have. And then I can also include Miami's off-campus outreach page as well.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of it is online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a great deal of it'll be online. Yeah, thank you for the question, Prue. Yeah, go ahead, Megan.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm super impressed by how much you and your senators have gotten done and delighted by the intersections between the work you're doing and what we've been talking about as a commission. So just, yeah, great work.
Thank you. Yeah, again, I want to, I know that my senators aren't here except for Gus, but, they do a lot of fantastic work that I could not do any of this without them. That they're really the driving force behind a lot of these initiatives. So. Anyone
Gus
else?
is here. Gus is here listening in.
Yes, he is. Hi, Gus.
I just think you've highlighted, or Prue has highlighted, another one of the ongoing issues, that there are many members of the community who don't, no matter how many communications efforts we establish, they have a very hard time understanding what all is going on. So, I hope, for instance, Emily, that your newsletter is going to Jessica Green, the assistant city manager, so that she can cull things from it to put into the community newsletter that she has. And by the reverse token, that you're encouraging students to sign up for that free communication as well.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point, both Prue and Steve. Yeah, there's been a Google form that's sent out that people can subscribe to the off-campus newsletter, and Jessica Green has subscribed to it, I believe. So that is going to her. I've also been trying to encourage students to sign up for many newsletters in the city, such as Enjoy Oxford, where they can really see a lot of things that are going on just in the community. So yeah, that's a very good thing to point out. It's just the connect between our community members and students. That's something that's very important. Is anyone else? I'm sorry, I don't know why I can't see everyone. So
Do you have a view button in the upper right corner, Emily?
I do, yeah.
If you click that and then click gallery view.
There we go. Sorry, if you guys haven't picked up, I'm not the most technological when it comes to Zoom. So, all right, are there any other questions or points of feedback from anyone? I'd love to hear any feedback here. I value the work that we do on this commission greatly, and I really appreciate all of your feedback on anything that we're doing in ASG. I just wanted to keep you guys all connected and in the loop, since, as Megan pointed out, there is a lot of overlap in the things we do on this commission and the things that we do in ASG, since it's just a really great point to bounce ideas off of each other in terms of how we can promote community engagement and really get students and community members to understand each other's perspectives.
In general announcements, I can just say that we're into the second week of the Senior Center and Adult Day Service programs reopening. It's positive, but very small steps. The other thing that is overloading us as a staff at the Senior Center are calls about helping to find sources and appointments for vaccine testing. And then also we've historically had tremendous help from volunteers from AARP to do income tax preparation for anyone of any age who is looking for that support. And that has been quite limited by AARP this year. So we've got a waiting list. We had tried to work out something with the accounting department at the university, and unfortunately it wasn't able to fall into place. But in talking with an AARP representative about an hour ago, she tells me that she thinks that filing extension maybe is allowed as late as the end of November, and that there would be some AARP volunteers who would still be able to come to the Oxford area and do some more of those. So we're hopeful, because we have a waiting list today of about 20 people that have no appointment opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Does anyone else have their hand raised or any feedback or any thoughts to share? Something that I will ask the commission, I've been hearing concerns from students about a lack of in-person volunteer opportunities as the year is winding down, that students really want to get engaged with the community and volunteer, and that just with COVID and everything, there have been just very limited opportunities for this. But I know that so many students have reached out to me asking for volunteer opportunities. So if anyone has any that they know of, oh, Steve, I see your hand.
I just wanted to say that we're hearing the exact opposite, that the university is not allowing many of its community organizations to go off campus to do any volunteerism. And so that's been quite interesting. And for people that are coming into our building, we've learned that we have to test them ourselves, even though they're tested on campus. So there's some stupidity to the whole thing too. But I believe there are going to be more outside opportunities that folks can get involved with as individuals, and especially those who live off campus. I don't see that Mother Miami can punish them too much.
Yeah, I've heard just more concerns for individual opportunities for volunteering. So not necessarily organizational, but just for like one or two people. Yeah, Megan.
Yeah, I have one actually that I just signed up for yesterday, and I can share the information with you potentially for the newsletter. It's for students who are going to be here around summer and are interested in ecology. The Butler County Stream Team is going to be some trainings for stream collection and some stream ecology surveys. And so I can send that to you if people are interested.
Yeah, thank you. That'd be wonderful.
And Andrew, can you make sure that that information gets passed on to the city's ecology group too? I know my predecessor, Joan Potter Summer, is one of the commissioners on that group.
Is that the Environmental Commission?
Right.
No, I think it's different, but I know that they work together. The Environmental Commission is sort of a separate city thing. And Joan has been so interested in climate and all kinds of things that she has created one too. I don't know about that. It would be worth clearing that up. Because
Yeah, that would be the Climate Action Committee.
yes,
Climate Action Steering Committee. Yeah, Joan is on that one.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can forward information to the committee.
Yeah.
And Scott, I saw you start to say something.
Yeah, I was going to go back to the volunteer, and I think that as we get later in the semester into the summer, those things will open up. So I think part of the issue, even on individuals, and Steve, you touched on a little bit, are just the different regulations across places. So I will say that from Miami's perspective, we still are in a pandemic and don't want to. Our students move around, and even coming into your facility or other facilities, just make sure that we're still following protocol. So I think that there's, you see that light at the end of the tunnel, but also don't want to jump the gun too early and have massive spread to do that. So we're ready to do that. And I think community members are ready, organizations are ready to do it too, but we're just not quite there.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Does anyone else have any thoughts or comments? I guess we've kind of merged into a general announcements time. All right, I'm not seeing any hands or anyone in the participants list. So if no one else has any general announcements or anything, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn pretty early. So get out a little early on this Friday afternoon here.
I'll move.
All right.
Second.
All right. There's been a motion to adjourn and it has been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
And all,
And-
whoops.
Go ahead.
Oh, and all opposed? All right. Sorry, Andrew.
Who seconded that?
I did.
Okay, Cedra. Okay. Thanks.
All right. So with that, yeah, everyone have a great weekend. I hope to see some of your faces at the farmers market tomorrow morning. We'll be passing out masks, thermometers, a bunch of pamphlets. And so I'm really excited to get this outreach opportunity back up and going. So yeah, everyone have a safe, healthy